Hey guys, want to do a real quick video on a pair of work boots I've had for almost 3 months now, I guess. They're by Redwing. It's their Rio Flex Style 4469. It's an 8-inch tall waterproof safety toe work boot. These are the lace-up version. They make a version that's just like a slip-on, like a Wellington type. I can't wear anything like that. I have to have a lace-up boot. For the simple fact, I'm just extremely slim. Yeah, no large calves or anything like that. I've had other boots similar to this, other lace-up boots from Danner, other Redwings, a couple pair of Thorogoods, JK, and a problem I always seem to have, because like I said, I'm pretty slender through the ankle and through the calf and all that, is a lot of times, like especially on the Thorogoods, those would lace up so tight I almost wouldn't have enough to get them snug there. They still wouldn't get tight enough. Not a problem with this boot. They're extremely narrow. I normally just wear like a D width, but these, like I said, I've had other D width boots and they were just always a little too wide, always seemed to flop around a little bit, always stretched out past what I thought the D width would be. But these been fantastic. I sized down about a ½ inch initially. 9.5 is typically what I wear. They felt a little bit big, so 9 was a little tight, and I'm glad I did, because after a few weeks they stretched out, the footbed kind of broke in, the leather gave a little bit, and now they're absolutely spot on. So another thing about this boot, I've never had a safety toe boot. The last pair of boots I was wearing didn't have a safety toe. I had an issue where a tree stump ended up falling over and getting on my left foot. It didn't break any toes or anything, but it definitely gave me a wake-up call to where I said, hey, maybe I need to look in to find something with a little bit of protection. I don't do tree work all the time or anything. That's probably why it happened. Yeah, I do primarily lawn and landscape work through the summer, and then if I pick up tree work and miscellaneous, land clearing stuff behind people's properties through the winter time when grass isn't really growing, that's really my line of work. So anyway, I decided to pick up this set of safety toe boots. It's my first pair ever, first pair of square-toed boots. That was a little bit of a getting used to, I guess, just from a visual standpoint. I can't really tell you, they don't fit or feel any different than a regular round toe boot, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit more room up toward the toe box, because it's not really rounded, to just kind of square it off right there. But that could vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. So yeah, but these have been absolutely spot on. No issues with the lacing pulling loose or any of the stitching or anything like that. Right out of the box, they were super comfortable. It took about a week and a half, I would say, for the footbed to kind of break in. So every time you put your foot in it, it found that little bit of a sweet spot. The back little pulls here, I can't stand my pants catching on that, so I cut that out. And also it comes with like a little false tongue. I took that thing off. So yeah, but right out of the box, the leather was super supple, pliable. It utilizes Redwing's, I guess it's a proprietary waterproofing system. It's not Gore-Tex or anything like that. It's a 3-part system. It comes with like an inner liner, a booty, which you can kind of see in there, the tongue, and around here, all that adds a little bit of padding, so it's not just straight leather. So I felt the initial comfort around the ankle for me was, just very, very comfortable. Almost too comfortable. I was like, well, this doesn't feel good. They probably added a lot of padding in there. It's going to break down real quick. It's going to add extra seams. It's going to end up ripping or tearing or anything like that. Haven't had one issue with that. One thing a little bit of the padding in the tongue does, a lot of times with these speed laces, when they rivet those guys in, depending on the rivet, you'll actually feel that. I've actually felt that through the tongue of like a regular boot, like on my Thorogoods. You could pull that tight and right into my skinny old shin and whatnot. I could feel that in the side of my ankle almost. So that was a little bit of discomfort. That does go away after time, but on initial break-in, that was not an issue with these things at all. Also on the laces, while we're talking about that, are these the speed hooks and whatnot. They give you kind of an option, which was kind of unique. I've seen this on I think a pair of Danners I had years ago, to where if you see right there, you can just traditionally lace them, or you can go behind that and use the little hooks over here. I just use the speed hooks or whatever. That's just my preferred method of lacing them up. But yeah, no issues at all with the seams or anything. The boots have been 100% waterproof as advertised. I have not done one single solitary thing with them. I come home, I brush all the dirt and grass off and everything else, leave them in the garage, put them right back on the next morning. Don't dry them with anything. I haven't treated these boots with anything. And so far, so good. They have just been 100% reliable. And they're not a cheap boot at all. They are, I think on Redwing's site, they're asking like $230 for these. I'm assuming that's what I paid. I can't remember right off the top of my head what I paid for these boots. But definitely not a cheap boot. So far, I couldn't be happier with them. The sole on them isn't really aggressive at all. It uses whatever kind of anti-slip material, and I'll have to give it to them. These boots have been actually very slip resistant. I haven't had one issue. I'm in and out of trailers, like I said, that get wet plywood, in and out of garages in the shop that have wet floors. Well, like I said, we bring mowers in and out, grass, mud. I haven't had one issue with being worried on steady feet with these things. So I think you'll be completely happy with how they perform on wet surfaces and whatnot. I'm not around on kind of like any kind of oil or any kind of, mechanical shop to where you're changing out, fluids and this, that, and the other to that level. So I can't speak to that. But as far as like wet concrete, wet plywood, those kind of surfaces, concrete, obviously, yeah, they've held up and performed as better, or what the hell am I trying to say? Better than expected. How about that? Yeah, the sole, I would say, yeah, it doesn't clump, so I'm not tracking all kind of mud and dirt everywhere. It's, I would say, a medium compound. Something like a logger sole would definitely be like a harder compound. Some of the Thorogood boots I've had with that white wedge sole, I would say that would be like a soft compound. So this is probably right there in the middle from my experience. But yeah, I haven't had one single problem out of them. Like I said, I've never gone to a square-toed boot or a safety-toe boot. But yeah, no issues. I can't feel the safety toe as being, awkward in any way. I don't feel like, oh, I can feel that, like when I bend down like this here or anything, like, oh yeah, that pinches or anything. I'm in Florida, so we don't have like cold. I've always heard people tell you or say something about, oh, if you got steel toe, the steel will be cold. And that might be true in Florida. I haven't had, we don't get cold down here from what people up north do. So that's not even a concern. So yeah, fit and finish on the boot. I've been totally happy with it. You guys have any questions or comments? I'll roll in some other footage of me walking around and showing you how they move on your feet and whatnot. But yeah, if I've left anything else, just let me know, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.